Hello, fellow armchair Imagineers. It's your podcasting compatriot, Tiki here.
And BlueDragonFive.
And Jacob Wile, too.
And together, for the last time this season, we are the Big Podcast. Did it. Did it. All right. I won't for us. Oh boy. So folks, we're here to talk about a season finale for Big Hero 6 that somehow ended up being 4 full minutes longer than Better Call Saul season finale.
Okay.
What's going on?
I don't know about that. I mean, Better Call Saul literally was an hour without taking the commercials out of the equation. I mean, come on.
No, this was an hour taking the commercials out of the equation.
I don't know. I still think Saul has it beat by 5 minutes, though. I don't
No,
know.
this was an hour 3 minutes without commercials. That was the time code I had on this when I bought it on legitimately.
All right.
All right. So yeah, this episode is it's quite good. It's quite good. I wouldn't go as far as to say it's like the best of the season by anything, but it was certainly it certainly lived up to all the hype. It lived up to the potential. We got some great Obake action in there. I wouldn't say it's the best of the season, but I would say that it's certainly up there with the best.
Mm-hmm.
I love this. When I thought it was a very impressive finale. Loved it. I think everything paid off wonderfully. Again, basically in regards to the plot this season, I think this one was kind of a crowning achievement. I thought it did really. It had a lot of strides. Again, bear in mind, it's like 3 episodes combined. It's 3 good episodes combined, so that's kind of why. But
it doesn't feel like 3 episodes combined, though, and I got to give them props for that.
There's a 3-act structure, but it doesn't feel like you're right about that. There is if you really look at it, there is somewhat of like a 3-act plot structure, but they all do blend seamlessly. So I see exactly what you're talking about there. So yeah, it is really impressive with that too.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree. It basically wrapped up everything that has been brought up so far in this season in a nice, neat little bow.
Little baby bird.
It's a bit far for a Kevin Walktail reference.
What can I say?
Well, I guess for the final time this season, kind of looking at kind of the pattern we've been kind of noticing for a lot of these, kind of the superhero trope and kind of the signature of, I guess, McCorkle and Schooley this time around. It's like most superhero shows, especially CW shows, you have kind of the big villain plot finale. You have kind of like the big end all be all last episode where the base is like a citywide, like some bad's going to happen to the city. Everyone has to team up. It's kind of the big kind of sweep finale. So we kind of have that here. And in regards to kind of our showrunners, this feels very much not to the same level, but it feels like it's cut from the same cloth, like a Kim Possible TV movie or like kind of a bit of like the series finale. So it kind of feels like these guys have experience under their belts. They know what they're doing with that sort of thing. So it feels like a fun little return to form in that regard.
Yes, it's kind of remind me of the drama.
Yeah, there's a bit. Yeah, that's the thing. There's a bit of the drama. There's also a bit of I got a bit of Graduation Day, especially with the ending. But you know, it's all swell.
So I don't even know where to start. There's a lot of stuff to get into with this.
Well, let's see. I guess broadly, we got to break down Obake in a few chunks here. So let's start with the episode. Kind of again, following the cool plot we've had with Obake. Again, Obake's batting a thousand this season. He only lost at one point in this last episode, and he still had a really great. It's like he had 1 loss in this whole season, but it was a really awesome loss, though.
And even then, it wasn't really that much.
That's the thing.
It's like it's like even then he basically accomplished what he set out to do. I mean, he didn't destroy the city like he was hoping for, but he pretty much set everything in motion, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah. Speaking of how he did that, so Obake, we kind of start this episode. He kind of sends Globby on a job to essentially Globby's purpose. And this is so clever about this plot. What puts everything in motion, just kind of like an age-old, like we're in the heat of the action with Globby doing Globby stuff. But what's so cool is what Obake's grand plan with this opening is he's going to incept the amplifier idea into Hiro's mind with what Globby's trying to steal. And of course, he's stealing a very prominent Cray tech. Again, the briefcase is more valuable than what's inside, but basically getting the idea of like, hey, Cray will tell him all this stuff. Will tell him why it's invaluable, and that will challenge Hiro Hamada's intellect. And it's really a foolproof plan when you think about it. All because of that briefcase Cray got from his lawyer. This sends Hiro down a path, plot-wise, I love how this sends Hiro. This might be one of my favorite things we've done with Hero's arc in the entire series. I got to tell you the story we have in the last kind of hurrah of the season here, where Obake essentially sends Hiro directly down the path of his own origin, so he can perfect the amplifier, which essentially it's kind of the big. We have that great energy shot to where Hiro literally he has like the half purple on his face, just like Obake, kind of visually symbolizing. He's going down the same path as Obake. No.
Okay, Jacob, I'm speaking directly to you and not to Dragon here, all right?
Okay.
Not to leave you out of this, Dragon, but Jacob, doesn't Obake and Hiro's relationship kind of remind you of Tom Riddle and Harry Potter?
Kind of in a way.
Where it's like they're both kind of cut from the same cloth and they have the same kind of potential.
This is
and they also have similar, like, tragic backstories, even.
Kind of in a science versus magic kind of way, yes.
Yeah. All right, Dragon. I apologize. I know you wouldn't care about Tom Riddle. So
speaking of Obake, we also had Robobake in the episode for a brief bit. I just love it's like this cool idea because for a moment you're kind of wondering, wait a minute, is Obake part robot because his daughter's a robot?
Right.
But no, it's like this great little distraction. But it's a really cool and trippy distraction, though. And I think one of the crowning achievements with Obake in this episode, but not counting the endings, my favorite part of the whole season. I got to be honest, but we'll get there. I love the scene with Granville because we've been building up for this whole season that Obake had a past with Granville, and but you have this great bit where while Hiro's distracted going up against Robobake, Obake, who we find out his actual name is Bob Aiken. Of course, when you block out the first and the last letter of that, it's Obake, which is hysterical. I love that.
That was a great reveal. I love that because, of course, we've had so much speculation. I was like, what does Obake mean? How do you pronounce it? It's really like just something that a kid came up with to make his name sound cooler.
Pretty much.
Bob.
Seriously, I love the Granville stuff. This is probably, I think, the best Granville stuff we do in the season here, where basically Granville's haunted by the mistake that she's been trying to correct with Hiro the whole season, where she basically Granville's own ambition as a teacher prevented her from gauging her students' limitations. Like she just allowed her student to kind of
Luke Skywalker, Kylo Ren,
or Icarus, sure. And I love this caused the accident from the amplifier, and I like that the whole philosophy, her new philosophy is you can't hold back genius, which of course now she's completely amended that you have to hold back genius or else some bad's going to happen. And I love that I love the symbol of what the amplifier is. The amplifier is kind of ego leading to being power hungry. It's like it's an amplifying power to a dangerous extent. That's kind of what Hiro. It's kind of the big. I guess it's like a thematic MacGuffin. Maybe it's like your amplifier is inconsequential. It's what the amplifier signifies that's more important. So I love all the stuff we're doing there. I think that's great. And what's so much more impressive in all of that is the fact that Obake, he's been such a master manipulator this whole season, but he can. Those rare moments when he's just kind of walking like an average Joe on the street, just walking through the science, through the SFIT building during this big presentation show.
And Dragon, him walking through the SFIT building was, honest to God, the most intimidating Obake moment of the whole season.
And he congratulates Honey Lemon on the big reveal. Oh,
very interesting presentation, Honey Lemon.
Right. Oh my God! So Obaki, he was Batman again, not just in terms of plot, but just character-wise. Just every Obaki was so good this finale. I'm blown. That was my
Yeah, he
favorite
was
episode.
great. He was great. I was skeptical about Ibaki in like the very early episodes where I was like, all right, I don't know what we're doing with him. Like he's just kind of like this shadowy figure. I've seen this type of character before, but like I said, I definitely see shades of Voldemort with him. I definitely do. But it's on a more subtle, kind of nuanced level than Voldemort. Like he doesn't want to kill everybody.
How
Same
did you?
okay, he just wants to kill everybody. But
Speaking of that, Tiki, there's a big question I want to pose to you guys. How do you guys feel about the brain impairment reveal? Because I really like it. What do you guys think? Based on the reason for the purple face.
yeah, he's essentially got like a brain malfunction that makes him a sociopath. That's how I read it as.
Essentially, yeah, and that's basically he has like he can't tell right from wrong, and I love how that fits into. Think about this, guys. This blew me away on a rewatch. When you really think about it, his characterization from the very beginning, what we get revealed here is that more back when he was the young scientist, he wanted to make the world a better place. He wanted to help the world. He wanted to help humanity. But since that impairment, he wants the same thing, but it's like the moral element of that has been taken out of the equation. He wants to make the world better, but not for humanity. He just wants to make something better and more beautiful and more impressive. But again, he just does. He's taking kind of the right and wrong to what achieves that and to what it's for out of that equation. So I love how it's the same plan, but just with that very different, that very essential distinction made. I love all that.
Kind of reminded me of Adrian Veidt.
Yeah, it's a bit Vite-like, yeah.
But yeah.
It's
Or it's like,
definitely,
yeah.
it's definitely an interesting take on a kind of villain. It's like instead of like being like purposefully evil, it's like it's almost like turns it on its head almost.
Yeah. And that's the thing. He's not necessarily, again, he just doesn't, we find out at the end here, he's not evil, he just doesn't get it. And because of that brain function, he just doesn't get the difference from right from wrong. And we have this, we'll get there when we get there. I want to wait till we get to the huge, big Baymax scene of it all there, because that's fantastic. We have some other stuff before we get there. But yeah, plot-wise, everything came together like these excellent puzzle pieces of plot. Where we have the Shimamoto confession. Like I love all the side. I think this is the best plotting they've had in the whole series because think about it, all of our B plots, all of our side plots, they directly coalesce to the grander whole. Where we have the Honey Lemon story, where Honey Lemon and Wasabi, they're trying to get the Shimamoto mystery solved, and solving that.
Right.
I love the big bummer reveal of the Shimamoto thing, where basically Honey Lemon's hero kind of was responsible for the destruction of San Francisco.
Like perhaps you should go with a happier slide next time.
Yeah, no, I love the little. It's like the little things here. I love that instead of a record, instead of a wax record, what we have is like this wax cylinder. It's like it's a little tweak in design, but it's so cool, Yeah, and everything else, it just kind of fell into place. We got, I guess, in the grand terms of plot. So Ibaki, what he's done here is he's used Shimamoto's specs, the blueprints, thanks to the UV light that Wasabi just kind of happened upon. He had the giant magnet that Go-Go had access to. He's turned the heavy water into fuel, which basically that was the whole point of him helping take out Baron von Steamer. And this amplifier basically recreates the catastrophe that hit San Francisco and kind of the parody of the 1906 earthquake. Wants to turn it into a star, which is basically pure energy. And again, the purple signature of it all, a giant purple star.
Basically,
pretty cool.
I was just wondering, like, how would he survive that? Like, he's far enough under the ocean to survive?
Yeah, that's the idea. Like, he's in, like, a base underneath all. It's like there's, like, I guess, basically would hit a certain area. And geographically, I think he's all right. He's far enough and further enough down, I think. I don't know.
It was just really quite an interesting plan. Like, you didn't really see it coming, yet everything together kind of makes sense.
Yeah. I wouldn't have guessed star. I mean, did you guys guess star and not tell me?
Nope.
What do you know? It's like he built a literal Death Star.
Yes, pretty much.
One-time use though, but very effective.
Very true. And also, I like it. I love the grand side plot of what Obaki's been doing that we've seen unfold, and we kind of could gauge this, and I like how it definitely came to fruition. He wanted to educate Hiro as his protege, like make sure Hiro Hamada survives so he can so we can teach him
That
without
was such a
limiting.
great moment, Dragon. I'm sure you were geeking out about it.
Well, again, he's so Ra's al Ghul in this last
Uh-huh,
episode.
uh-huh. That's exactly what I was thinking.
I mean, he genuinely likes the kid, and he loves the potential. He sees a lot of himself in Hero, and Hero again lives up to that hype, and that he unlocked the thing that even Obake couldn't figure out.
That was definitely interesting. I guess it goes along the theme of the series that Obake really didn't have anyone else alongside him to guide him.
Yeah. I love that he's not mad at Granville. Remember, we saw that again he was like just being all pleasant and casual with Granville when he bumped into her, and she was like, "Oh no, you," because again her not limiting him is what made him the way he is, and he's like grateful for that. Like, no, you shouldn't beat yourself up. It's because of you I'm the man I am today. I'm happy for that. I'm sure makes her feel like $1,000,000. And of course, Granville knew they were Big Hero 6 all along because she's smart, which makes sense. And I love that
I really liked how that was played.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we didn't get the same reveal with Kari, which I guess we'll have to wait till next season.
Yeah, Carmio was just kind of a cameo, but there was so much going on, I didn't quite miss it. It's like, yeah, we'll do it next season. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Hopefully early next season, but next season all the same.
I would at least like to see this kind of story, like from the perspective of the other characters.
Yeah, Cray's only concerned about his wallet. Literally, this episode, he just wanted to get his wallet back from Globby from the first couple episodes.
Yeah, that's the only reason he agreed to help them to begin with. I was like, you're right, he did steal my wallet.
And I love that he goes gaga for Minimax, because like something about this tiny Baymax is strangely compelling.
I'm honestly surprised it didn't ask like to sell. Like, how much did it cost?
I mean, there's such a there's a great drama to this episode. Yet we do have like some great comedy kind of all throughout this. It's like kind of a healthy balance of comedy, like the whole Fred bit of like his name is Bob. Of course, Aunt Cass as well. Aunt Cass. Not only do we get some comedy with Aunt Cass, like baking up a storm, she's stress baking. And we see the heart of Aunt Cass. Like you see exactly what Hero's protecting, what he wants to keep safe, and of course we have that great one of my favorite moments, probably the most Ra's al Ghul moment in the whole thing for me with Obake was when Hero learns of what Obake's big star plan, which essentially very much like Ra's al Ghul, by the way, as a whole, like basically have a big natural disaster hit, and then whoever survives, the strong will survive, and then you basically rebuild society so the Earth will maintain itself. That's usually Ra's al Ghul's MO anyway, which is kind of funny. But the point is we have this beautiful moment where Hero realizes, oh my god, Aunt Cassie, he runs off to save her, and of course Baymax we'll get to the Obake chip in 1 second here, but stops him. But then Obake has this fantastic line, it sounds so much like Ra's al Ghul, where he says, if it's any comfort, she wouldn't have survived anyway, even if she there's no distance she could run that would make her safe from the explosion.
God.
Because again, he's like offering like some, like it's callous, but he's kind of offering like some peace of mind. Like, no, she wouldn't survive this anyway. So you don't feel bad. It's not your fault. This is going to happen anyway.
The
Obake chip. Let's talk about that.
We were kind of writing our predictions of him hijacking Baymax.
Yeah, and I gotta tell you, I mean, it's kind of going back to the movie, but I gotta tell you, it's something great. I love the reveal of it. The reveal of we knew that Baymax was going to be overtaken because Obake was able to get that security footage from the Baymax camera with all the Tadashi footage and everything. We knew we had that. What we did here, I just loved, and we knew that Noodle Burger Boy in kind of this cool. If you guys, Jacob, you've seen Men in Black too, right?
Yeah, of course.
You remember the Jara, like the weird guy in the coat who has like all sorts of mini versions of himself with that little robot?
Yes.
Basically, they gave that to Noodle Burger Boy this episode. It was just kind of a random choice, and I just kind of recognized it, and it's like, oh my god, it's like the thing Jara had Men in Black too. Cool. And when the Noodle Burger Boy was going up against Baymax, I just love that we had this big. You kind of knew he was going to mess with the chips, and again, I should have seen. I was so distracted by everything else, I kind of forgot about it long enough. And I knew he was going to hack into Baymax. I just kind of forgot how. But we had that great reveal where Baymax isn't going into healthcare companion mode, and Hero's going for the chip, and Baymax stops him, revealing the whole the purple Obake chip, which is just so great and perverse. And I think the most haunting moment in the entire series with Baymax for me is where Baymax says something along the lines of stop or and you won't suffer further injury. Like Baymax
Yes,
threatening
yes, that's yeah.
a healthcare companion warning against physical harm, like he's going to harm you. That's scary. Like he'll break your bones. It's oh man.
It's like it's kind of interesting is that when he's like told to like when Obake was there, he avoided him. It's like that could. It's kind of funny that could actually be attributed to him not wanting to actually harm Obake.
Exactly. And again, Jacob, you're absolutely right. It's a little tip off. It's a little. We have two big clues. One with the whole Noodleburger boy is aiming for the chip, and Baymax did reboot. But the other thing, the big subtle clue for those paying attention is Baymax missed and he hit the window with the rocket fist, and Obake said thank you, and he left because again that's Baymax helping his plan. It's under Obake's programming.
Like I said, but it could also be attributed to him not wanting to physically harm anyone.
That's a good point too. I mean, I think it'd be a bit of both too. Sure, down for that.
I think another clue would be that he didn't say it's like it's against our facilities to harm a human being or something like that.
True. That's a good point. I guess because he's threatening physical harm, I'm thinking he under this programming he could actually harm somebody. But again, with that Obake chip, that's my guess. But anyway.
Well, I mean, technically, he did say, "Please don't move to avoid further injury."
Okay, that's a good point. All right. Let's go back. Let's go to Globby for a minute here. So Globby, I love how full circle
Globby is a character that I like. Out of all the characters in the series, I genuinely like to see him in a potential, like, full-blown sequel to the movie.
That would be kind of fun.
Because I feel like he's had a great arc through the season, and I feel like this episode he really, they did the redemption arc for him really well. And if there is a Big Hero 7. I genuinely think that he would be like the next in line. You know what I mean?
I'd buy it. I'd buy it. I love that he did all for his. And again, we see if you look at the origins of Globby, you saw he was.
I love the evolution of his stretching powers, where he starts out very insecure about them, and then this episode he's turning into freaking dinosaurs.
And he turns into again. Remember, Globby is a huge part of what saves the city because he turns into this giant dam. That basically takes in all the water so San Francisco doesn't get wiped out by a tsunami, essentially. So that's really cool.
And it even like ties into the whole connection with Honey Lemon too.
I know that's what I really loved about that too. Like where Honey Lemon, again, it's kind of Honey Lemon getting redemption because they have this bit where everyone thinks it's the end times, and they all say, we've all made mistakes. And again, Honey Lemon had a chance to amend her mistake by seeing the good in her creation, which essentially is Globby. She was responsible for Globby. And she, again, with that redemption, she's kind of redeemed herself too, and kind of very appropriately kind of paired with him. Gives him like the big heart sticker on his face, which is adorable.
That was adorable, yeah.
And I also love that he did add a friendship too for Felony Carl, who was friends with in the beginning before he was. Save the day for Felony Carl and for Joe's Diner.
Like, tell him Felony Carl was my list.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means, but I will.
And the fact that he's actually, and also the fact that he went like to hug everyone after the victory, and they didn't actually brush him off was also a nice gesture.
Also, I think he called. I forget. Someone called her tall girl again. I think it was Globby, and they called that. I'm not that tall.
It's like it could have been like easy to be one of those situations where like they join forces with the bad guy, but when he tries to join them, they all brush him off. It was like nope, like they allowed Globby in on their group hug.
Yeah,
I just thought that was a nice touch.
It was. So I guess let me weigh in on let's weigh in on Hero a little bit here. I just want to go to the whole grand arc of what Hero goes through here. So it's a great arc of Hero becoming he kind of risked becoming Obake with the with some unheroic choices this episode. But of course we've seen him dabble in that the whole season. He's kind of made some potential unheroic choices that in the end he made the right choice. Again, the point is Hiro Hamada knew right from wrong and fulfilled Tadashi's prophecy that Hiro's a good kid and he'll do the right thing at the end of the day, which is absolutely what it's kind of a great prophecy for the end of the season here, where Hiro, at the end of the day, Obake in a sense, and I thought this was fascinating. Obake in a sense is kind of the perversion of. We visually saw this in the previous episode with the Halloween episode where. We saw Tadashi with Obake's voice for a moment, but I think it is kind of representative of Obake being a twisted older brother mentor figure for Hiro, that oddly enough, Hiro does get he gets to say, sorry, let me rephrase that. Obake communicates a goodbye to Hiro where Hiro didn't get a goodbye from Tadashi, which is kind of perverse that he got closure from Obake but not closure from Tadashi.
Right.
Which I find very interesting. So I love all the parallel they've been doing with those guys this whole season, and the fact that Hiro in the end he corrected his mistakes and he took responsibility for his actions. He realizes the importance of limits and priorities because again, even before the whole Obake reveal, he was working on that amplifier while his friends were combating Glabi and everything, and he kind of left him in the lurch. So I love just kind of the Hero 101 stuff we've been doing this season. This episode I think brought that really to the surface, and we have this beautiful arc with not just Hero but Fred as well, where Fred and Hero
I'm glad we're getting to this because Fred really redeemed himself. Not that he needed to be redeemed, but just he justified his place in the story. Let's say,
like, one, we made the kaiju plot relevant instead of just a gimmick. We actually made the kaiju the thing that saves the day.
Well, even though at first it just seems like it comes out of nowhere.
True. And
I know Fred's like, I know it almost destroyed that city, but I made a bigger one.
And again, everybody learning from their mistakes, kind of the theme there. I mean, everyone had like a great kind of Wizard of Oz arc, where like now they had the courage all along, or they made they made kind of the discovery along the way. Where
you're right, Obake's is definitely the courage arc for sure.
Yeah, and it's
Wasabi, my bad.
Yeah, Wasabi specifically there because I love how Wasabi went up against one of my favorite of the other villains from the show, Momokaze, and of course he had that great sword fight and everything with him, and it was and Wasabi is really in danger at that last moment.
I've been watching YouTube videos.
It's hilarious about fencing, Perry. Never underestimate a little education, folks. Never underestimate that. But I mean, yeah, that heroic sacrifice moment with Fred, Hero, and Minimax on top and on the giant kaiju, they're like landing down. They're saying their goodbyes to everybody. It looks quite final, and I kind of love them making that big choice and showing how they've grown as a team, and they all got a good spotlight. I mean, Gogo didn't. Again, Gogo she was present, and that's the one thing we got to change in season 2. We got to get Gogo an episode. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Gogo by the end, she's more sincere. I guess that's the big thing that she learned. She's just learned sincerity. I was 80% more sincere than I usually am. Well, that's pretty big, Wasabi. You should bask.
I love Gogo saving the cats during the big climax.
Yeah, and then Wasabi saving the school children in the school bus. That was awesome. Holding the little girl's hand, and then Wasabi holding somebody's hand. That's kind of big. Kind of the germaphobe element of it all. Anyway, so I guess unless you guys have anything else, we should talk about the big Baymax Obake bit at the end.
No, let's do it.
Okay, so my favorite thing in the whole season here, as much as I love the Ant Cass, the food fight episode, and this to me takes the cake. And this is what I wanted to see in this series. And I thought it was fantastic. Basically, honestly, with the whole star thing too, I just want to mention this before we get into this. With the whole star plot, it did Tiki. Did it remind you of Spider-Man, the ending of Spider-Man 2 at all? With the whole the power of the sun in the palm of my hand.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. Now that you mention it, I wasn't really thinking about it while I was watching the episode. But
if you're going to reference subtly any movie, I mean that's the one to reference, right?
Not to mention, it is kind of similar to. It is kind of similar to Doc Ock's plan, although Obake's is definitely on the more malicious side.
Yes. If Doc Ock wanted to control it, Obake just basically wants to make like a giant landmark to his genius, and maybe something that can have energy siphoned from it, maybe, but So, yes, so that final scene, basically the scene we had before us here. The thing I love is Obake, he shuts down Noodle Burger Boy because Noodle Burger Boy just makes you wonder, like, why would he put up with Noodle Burger Boy? Well, Noodle Burger Boy outlives his usefulness, so he kind of turns him off because he doesn't want to talk with him like the moment of his plan about to be, realized and everything. And I just love Obake wanting to chat with Baymax. It's like such an ultimate kind of stroke of pleasantries, and I dig it. It's just so nice about it too. Well, maybe you'll be more of a conversationalist. Just kind of talking with him. with Baymax. And again, I just love the opposites of these characters interacting with each other. This is probably one of the best interactions of the whole season here between again these two characters, the complete opposite of each other, where neither of them are on they're both kind of divorced from humanity in a way. Where Obake, again, he doesn't know right from wrong, and Baymax, again, he's all for helping humanity. It's all, you know what it feels kind of like? It feels kind of like the last scene in Age of Ultron between Vision and between Ultron, where again they're both kind of
I can see
divorced.
that.
Again, they're both like kind of these great. They're connected somehow. They're both technology. They're both kind of very dialed into it, and they're both kind of this separate entity from humanity, and they both have an opinion about it. Where Baymax is all about helping humanity, and Obake is all about, well, look, I don't really care about it. I just want to do something beautiful here. And in the last moments, I love that Baymax he's being a healthcare companion. He's scanning him the minute like Obake, he takes out the chip and everything. He scans him, and he's trying to help him and realizing that you have a traumatic brain injury that's going to get worse, but it is treatable. He offers him the choice to heal, and Obake. It's one of those great moments of changes in storytelling where Obake, we learn, he doesn't want to heal. Like, why? Again, he doesn't want to heal. Maybe because of his condition of like he doesn't know right from wrong. He's just used to it. Like, why would I want to heal? Because again, he's not seeing his actions as right or wrong. So he's just not getting that he needs to heal, or should he heal?
Mm-hmm.
And in his last moments of defeat, I think is probably one of the best moments, or the last moments of the moment of defeat. Again, the only major setback that Obake had, like the only two setbacks he had in the entire series, was Hero escaping for a moment. He had competent people going after him, and then of course Hero foiling his plans here. And just says, I have no legacy, therefore I have no point in living. So as the base is coming down around him, he's kind of basking in it. Like one moment of failure essentially leads him to like, I don't need to live anymore. Which is, I mean, again, if we're gonna have a guy so successful,
it's super gutsy for a kids show. It really is.
I know, and like they danced around it in just the right, like it's conveyed without being explicit. It's like just the right amount of you get that he's bummed out and he's not moving from that spot.
Yeah, it's also very dignified.
I know, yeah, he's going down with the
sure.
ship, and again, like his one major defeat the whole season, he's going down with the ship for. I mean, that's
what's really interesting though.
What?
The series has, as far as we know, officially killed more people than the movie has.
God,
technically,
that's probably true. I can see that.
I mean, if Obake actually is, dead, nobody technically died in the movie, so.
Well, Tadashi.
Well, villains. I should say villains.
Villains, true. Yeah, you're right. Villains. They're all in the land.
Okay, obviously Tadashi, but you know what I mean.
Sure.
And it's actually one of the moments in this series that can actually hold a candle to the movie itself.
I love that even in this dramatic scene,
I am satisfied with my care.
Even before that, we have that little bit of levity where basically the image we had before is here, the whole they're there. It's like a little moment of compassion before the big and Obake's last moment from what we see of him in the series is him telling Baymax to save Hero because he realizes what Hero's done. Again, he's doing something for Hiro Hamada's well-being. That we show that he does like the kid. He sees, like, again, if he doesn't have a future, the kid will have a future. Maybe he'll go his way, maybe not. But the point is, he just wants to save this kid. So he sends Baymax to save Hiro Hamada as his last act. And of course, it's that sacrificial thing of like, I'm satisfied with my care. Baymax walks away, and this. I don't know if you guys feel the same way about this, but I love that. Baymax, he kind of stops for just for a moment, because again, he's a slave to his programming, so to speak. He has to go save Hiro Hamada. Of course, he's a healthcare companion. He's obeying orders, but he had that moment where he turned back. And I think that's speaking to both of them. These characters are somewhat divorced from humanity, showing a bit of humanity in their last moment. Save Hiro, and maybe I shouldn't leave Obake. It's like there was little two moments there. They had such an impact on each other with one scene in the entire season.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff.
And as I mentioned, it's actually a scene that can hold a candle to the movie too.
Yes, absolutely. And of course, he'll tell him we would have done great things together. Great final words as he's just kind of sitting there again to the audience, seemingly killed off, but he might have survived. We saw that little Obake chip, in the ocean.
I don't think he's dead. I think he's too good of a character to kill off.
It's a point. That's a point. Dude. It's something funny. It's like, again, I mentioned this before. I think it blew my mind because I've been doing the whole Ra's al Ghul Moriarty comparison. I found out that Andrew Scott, who plays Moriarty on Sherlock, the BBC show, he does the voice of Obake. So I wasn't far off with that comparison this whole time. Let's just say Moriarty. He has various, like, again, it looks like he's dead, but you could always come back. They do something like that at various points. So it's kind of like something he and Moriarty yet again have in common, as well as
Rachel. If anything, he could have a really interesting like redemption arc.
That would be fascinating, and again, maybe or his condition gets worse. You never know. I love the final scene that we have in the season with Granville and Hero. That's the big full circle thing we got to talk about before we end. What do you guys think?
Yeah, it was nice. I don't have a ton to say about it.
I definitely like to think that it'll definitely point to something. Like if Obake definitely doesn't survive, like someone could still carry on his legacy or something.
Of course, Trina, she was a disembodied head.
Oh God, I'm glad we mentioned her. Yes. Oh God, that was a dark joke, man.
Here's the thing that delights me about it. Again, it's such kind of like a.
Christine Carlson Romano is just like grilling Hero about it. Like, what? You couldn't figure that out?
That's so cute.
That's the thing. The whole "that's so cute" thing makes me think she's such a candle for Hiro Hamada. You don't know. I
wonder what happened to her when the base got destroyed.
I think she got out of there. She probably, she found a way out. I don't know. Just put her head back on. She's got a good head on her shoulders when it's attached. But yeah, that last scene with Granville. I mean, of course, we've been remarking how fun Granville's been the whole season. I love just kind of the great full circleness of it here, where she's, she had to relearn the lesson of of setting limits here, and she felt like she failed Hero, and Hero realized, like, no, you and I, we've been butting heads a little bit time to time here, but yeah, you did have a grand lesson to tell me.
You didn't fail Kylo. Kylo failed you.
Sure. I love that she gives him props for, like, she shows, like, you passed your project, and this is such like a Lucius Fox, or like it's kind of like a Lucius Fox moment here, where basically, I know who you are, so you passed, but of course showing him the Big Hero 6 images without really saying, like, hey, because you're Big Hero 6, you passed. It was kind of cutesy. But the line that really brought it home for me, I think the great thing that they did one of the great things they did this season was they ended with this moment between Hero and Granville, where Granville said, and this is like the perfect, because they know they're coming back for season 2. This is the perfect transitioning point for season 2, where she says, you better put in the work, Hamada, because next semester is going to present even more challenges.
Right. That was pretty good.
That's such a classy way of saying we're coming back for season 2. I hope you're prepared. Like, oh, just wait for. You think this was hard? Wait till season 2. That's such a great little acknowledgement, followed by that little guilt that she has for Bob. For Bob.
Bob Aiken.
Yeah, for Bob Aiken. I'm sorry, so used to call him Obake. Bob Aiken here. I love that she's asking about her great failure, and she says, well, we've been looking for him, but no luck yet. And of course, the last thing we see is that Obake chip might be alive. Who knows?
I think they said maybe if he doesn't survive, someone can still carry on his legacy or something.
True. Maybe Trina finds that chip. Who knows? Maybe she carries on his legacy with that Obake chip. I don't know. All right. So, anything else?
No, just some final thoughts. Anything else from you, Jacob?
No, not really. I think that pretty much covered everything.
Okay. Well, final thoughts on my end. I think this was a very well constructed finale. It gave everyone on the team something to do. It was a 3-act structure, but it didn't feel like 3 standalone episodes by any means. It very much flowed into each other quite well. I really like how each of the side characters kind of got, as Dragon said, like a Wizard of Oz kind of moment with summing up their character and their arc throughout the season. That was really well handled. Obake was really, really well written throughout the season, and he got to shine here in the finale for sure, and I genuinely hope he's not dead. And some very dramatic Baymax stuff. Great way to end the season, really. It's been a fun ride. I don't think it's quite as good as DuckTales season 1. Not quite as I don't think the endpoint for Big Hero 6 was quite as epic as DuckTales season 1 was, where basically the last 5 episodes leading into DuckTales season 1's finale was like, oh my god, episode after episode of just awesomeness. But still, it was a very good time. Can't wait for season 2. And I also can't wait for DuckTales season 2 coming next week, just to plug it.
Yeah, it brought it home with the finale. It had its ups and downs. Again, it's like season 1. You're figuring out things, and I feel in the end, I think they brought it home, and they've earned the season 2 at least. I think it shows a lot of growth and a lot of potential, and I'm looking forward to it as well.
All right. Well, thank you so much for watching, folks. Jacob and I will be back next week to talk about the season 2 premiere of DuckTales. Woohoo to that. And until next time.
I am satisfied with my care.